Good evening and thanks for tuning in. I'm Ann Powell, the WJTS News. An Indiana man is spending time in jail after stealing 2 lawnmowers. 31-year-old Bobby Ray Miller of Lake Station was arrested on Thursday night after leading police on a brief chase through Knox County. Police were on the lookout after learning that a truck, trailer, and 2 lawnmowers were stolen out of Kentucky. Police attempted to pull over Miller on US 41, but he refused to stop. The pursuit came to an end when Miller crashed on US 41 and ran away from the scene. He was soon taken into custody and taken to Good Samaritan Hospital, where he tested positive for cocaine. He's currently being held at the Knox County Jail on bond for felony counts of auto theft and resisting law enforcement, and on misdemeanor counts of resisting law enforcement, driving while suspended, and operating a vehicle while intoxicated. The Crawford County Sheriff's Office arrested 2 men for dealing drugs earlier this month. 52-year-old Dellard Hornback of Borden and 60-year-old Jimmy Andre of Huntingburg were arrested after driving on State Road 64 for swerving and crossing the white line on September 4th. While approaching the driver's side of the car, Hornback was sweating profusely and fidgeting back and forth in his seat. After Hornback refused to give his license and registration, the deputy explained he would remove him from the vehicle and arrest him for failing to identify. He eventually handed the deputy his license. Both Hornback and Andre were then ordered to step out of the car after a canine alerted to the presence of drugs. Police then searched the men and found 2 baggies of marijuana, a bag of marijuana, a pipe with marijuana residue, and a bag of methamphetamine, and a sandwich bag of methamphetamine was also found under the center console of the driver's side inside the car. Both men were then arrested and transported to the Crawford County Jail without further incident and charged with dealing and possession of methamphetamine, possession of marijuana, as well as possession of paraphernalia. Mask requirements are changing in all DuBois County schools next month. School officials will begin using a new set of guidelines based on what color the county is on the Indiana State Department of Health's metrics map beginning on Monday, October 4th. If the county is in blue, yellow, or orange, or red and have less than 4% of active cases, masks are optional in the classroom. Contact tracing within 6 feet. If the county is in a red or orange metric level, schools have over 4% of active cases, then masks are required in the classroom setting for 2 weeks, and there will be no contact tracing. Exposure in outdoor settings during the day, such as during recess, physical education, and outdoor learning labs, does not require any contact tracing. Exposure during indoor activities where masks cannot be worn, such as during lunch, choir, and band, will require contact tracing within 6 feet for 15 minutes in quarantine. Decisions about COVID-19 protocols also may be based on the situation in the classroom or in extracurricular activities. For example, if a positive COVID-19 outbreak occurs in a self-contained elementary school classroom, then that classroom could go virtual or be required to wear a face mask for the next 2 weeks instead of masking the entire building. If there's a positive COVID-19 outbreak on a sports team, then that entire team could be quarantined for 10 days instead of masking the entire building. Students exposed to COVID-19 and identified as a close contact will be required to comply with the quarantine time periods and may return on day 11 with no testing, on day 8 with a negative COVID-19 test, given on day 5, 6, or 7. Students may continue to learn virtually during this time. Exceptions to the quarantine include proof of vaccination or proof of COVID-19 within the last 90 days. Indiana will soon begin offering booster doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to eligible Hoosiers following federal authorization of the additional dose. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention on Thursday recommended the administration of the booster dose of the Pfizer vaccine to counter waning immunity in specific populations. According to the CDC, this includes individuals 65 and older and residents of long-term care facilities. Individuals 50 to 64 years years old with underlying medical conditions that put them at a higher risk of severe COVID-19, and individuals 18 to 49 with underlying medical conditions, as well as those between the ages of 18 and 64 who are at a high risk of COVID-19 exposure transmission because of the occupational or instructional risk of exposure. The single booster dose can be administered at least 6 months after the completion of the second dose, and this only applies to individuals who previously received the Pfizer vaccine. Individuals who received the Moderna or Johnson & Johnson vaccines are not eligible at this time. Eligible Hoosiers who want to obtain a booster dose can go to ourshot.in.gov and search for the site that has the Pfizer vaccine, which is designated as PVAX, or call 211 for assistance. Hoosiers are encouraged to bring their vaccination card with them to their appointment to ensure that the booster dose is added. Upon arriving at the vaccination clinic, Hoosiers will be asked to attest that they meet eligibility requirements listed above, beginning on Monday. This will be incorporated into the online appointment registration at ourshot.in.gov. Indiana is facing the latest wave of COVID-19 with 3,255 new cases reported today for the state and 30 new deaths. To date, there have been a total of 947,918 cases of COVID-19 and a total of 14,895 deaths reported in the state. As of right now, only 55.2% of Indiana's population is fully vaccinated. Du Bois County saw 43 new cases and no new deaths today. To date, there have been a total of 7,791 cases for the county, and 123 Du Bois County residents have died from the virus. As of right now, only 58.7% of the county is fully vaccinated. For the surrounding counties, Spencer has 15 new cases with 51.9% of its population vaccinated. Davies County has 23 new cases with 37% of its population vaccinated. Martin County has 9 new cases with 41.2% of its population vaccinated. Lawrence County has 27 new cases with 49.2% of its population vaccinated. Orange County has 10 new cases with 49.2% of its population vaccinated. Pike has 22 new cases and 1 new death with 43.4% of its population vaccinated. Crawford County has 6 new cases with 46.4% of its population vaccinated. Perry County saw 17 new cases today with 58.4% of its population vaccinated. And Warwick County has 22 new cases and 1 additional death with 64.7% of its population vaccinated. 25.9% of ICU beds for Indiana District 10 are in use for COVID-19 alone. The current recommendation from the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, and the Indiana State Department of Health to help combat the COVID-19 virus is to get vaccinated. To schedule your first vaccine, you can visit ourshot.in.gov, and to look at a complete breakdown of the COVID-19 statistics for the state of Indiana, go to coronavirus.in.gov. Students and faculty members at Indiana State University will have to either get the coronavirus shot or prepare for regular testing after the first of the year. The university announced its new vaccine mandate yesterday. Starting in 2022, the school says all students and staffers must either be fully vaccinated or get tested once a week. Some students who work off campus will have to comply with that mandate within the next week or so. The Huntingburg Herbs Fest continues to take place this weekend. Car, tractor, and motorcycle show registration runs from 8 a.m. to noon in the east parking lot on Saturday. Love for Lexi's third annual 5K run walk gets underway at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. is also the start time for the co-ed volleyball tourney at the sand volleyball courts. The craft show gets underway at 10 a.m. at the main shelter house. Jumping Jacks and Entertainment is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, as well as YES Power Yoga stretches into the East Shelter House at 10:30 in the morning. Kids activities will begin taking over City Park entrance at 10:30 a.m. Food booths and axe throwing both open at 11 a.m. in the Midway. Noon is the start time for the Lady Raider softball ALS game at the girls softball field. The horseshoe pitching tournament also begins at 2 p.m. at the horseshoe pits. The beer garden opens for the evening at 4 p.m. The Hagedorn Family Band takes over the Midway stage from 5 to 7 p.m. Jumping Jacks Entertainment then runs from 5 to 11 p.m. at the Midway. Music from Timmy Dunn is from 8 p.m. to midnight inside of the League Stadium. Activities and booths will close for the day at 11 p.m. The beer garden closes for the last time at 1 a.m. and Sunday is also the last day for festivities this year. The parade starts on 3rd Street in Huntingburg at 2 p.m. Some Jasper residents will need to find a new parking spot next week. The Jasper Street Department and their contractor, Pavement Solutions, is starting a pavement preservation project at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, September 28th. Affected streets include Mill Street from 30th Street to 36th Street, Lakeside Drive from 31st Street to 36th Street, Bittersweet Drive from Lakeside Drive to 31st Street, Old Huntingburg Road from 12th Avenue to 100 South, 12th Avenue from Warnsing Road to Hobbick Street, and 350 West from Highway 56 to 150 North. All vehicles must be removed from the affected streets and out of the driveways. The streets will be closed during the project and motorists will not be allowed to drive on them. The streets being processed should, however, reopen each evening depending on the drying conditions. All residents will be notified by door hanger the day prior to their street being processed. This project should be completed by the end of the day on Monday, October 4th, barring inclement weather or any other unforeseen events. Workers at Toyota's plant in southern Indiana are heading back home for a bit. The company yesterday said that it is pressing pause at its plant in Princeton because of supply shortages. Toyota is not saying how long this pause will last, though the company says it does not expect any impact to employment. The Indiana Regional Women's Conference is next month, and some of the speakers for this year's event may sound familiar. Scheduled speakers include keynote speaker Pat Cook of Holiday World. Panel discussion speakers include Ann Knies, owner of Chocolate Bliss, Cindy Gaskins, co-founder of Sisson Steel Pike County Foundation, Lacey L. Krausor, the co-founder and CEO of C&R Construction, Kelly Ranke of Spencer County Sheriff. The afternoon speaker this year is Tay Blythe of Pace Community Action Agency. This year's event takes place at the Black Horse Barn in Linville on Friday, October 15th. Tickets are $50 each, and a registration link is posted on our website, WJTS.tv. Indiana is making sure that students have a way to get free tutoring. The Indiana Department of Education announced a new partnership this week with Schoolhouse.World to support students in grades 8 through 12 with free tutoring for the SAT preparation, math courses, and advanced placement or AP courses. Schoolhouse.World was launched in early 2020 by Sal Khan, who is also the founder of Khan Academy, in response to COVID-19 learning disruptions. The nonprofit connects students with live small group tutoring through Zoom at no cost. In addition to these resources, through Schoolhouse.World, Khan Academy and College Board offer free SAT practice resources. This free resource comes as all Indiana high school juniors are preparing to take the SAT this spring. Students can visit the official SAT practice on Khan Academy, a personalized online program that helps students practice for the SAT with thousands of sample questions, instant feedback, video lessons, and full-length practice tests. To learn more about these learning resources and to sign up for a tutoring session, you can visit Schoolhouse.World or KhanAcademy.org. And stay tuned to weekly forecasts and sports with Kirk Guxeller still to come on the WJTS News.